All right, it is and I'll just say, it's Record Retention Commission. Today is June 2nd, 2021. And in attendance is myself, Tiffany Hughes, Mayor Hughes, Jen Pauken, Jesse Sham, and Leah Klein. And somebody else take it from here because that's as good as it's gonna get. Till next time.
We did not have any changes to any of the record retention schedules, but we do have a fire department EMS retention schedule now.
I noticed that.
So it is based off of the suggested retention from the Ohio History Connection, and that is what I printed out here. And it especially has, we really needed a retention schedule for the run reports.
Right.
And the 3 years is what we have here. That is, again, based off of Ohio History Connection.
Where or run?
It's under master run reports.
Which page? Master run. Got it,
21.
okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Okay. How does that differ? I'm just curious. How does it differ from emergency medical services records, which is a 7-year retention period?
That's a good question. Maybe.
I mean, I know the run reports are gonna have something different. They have different data that's collected. The EMS services or the emergency medical services records, I don't know what those would look like.
Do you think that maybe I should ask Rick Hochstetter what
I mean, I don't,
the
no,
difference is?
not necessarily, I'm mostly just curious.
Does
I don't think
maybe
it
one
affects the
concern
retention.
employees and the other is the actual medical data from the run, do you think?
Well, if that's employee records, how does that compare to the other employee records that we say, which I think are like, I can't remember, but they're long.
Personnel?
Yeah.
Those are permanent.
Those are
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you know?
No, emergency medical service, I mean. Obviously, that's gonna have more personal information on it, one would assume, so
Well-
we're keeping it longer.
Because looking at
So will
those-
your run sheets though, possibly, I mean, they'll have that, well, maybe not actually, run sheets may just tell you like time of dispatch and location as opposed to like actual electronic medical records
Right,
or
what happened
paper
on the
medical-
run.
Right, who it was, what their chief complaint was, what their vitals were, what
Right.
interventions were taken, so.
And that might be the difference.
That may be the difference, okay, now that we say
And
that.
if they are all on one report,
Like,
the
go on
run
together.
and, yes,
Yeah.
do you think we should change master run reports to 7 years? Just in case?
Well, if they're all
or-
on one, then I think it would probably default to the one that sticks around longer, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Which would make it easier down the line
Yeah.
when we look at this and raise the same question.
Exactly, yeah.
okay. So we want to
That makes
revise
sense.
the 21, FD 21 to 7 years, just so we can.
Yeah, I mean, do we know they're on the same one? They're on the same.
No,
We don't wanna
no,
change it
but I
before we
mean,
know we have to.
I guess I don't know what I'm looking at
Sure,
exactly,
I
so I
wouldn't
don't
either.
wanna
Right,
throw
right.
away any,
True.
or destroy.
Well,
any
that's fine.
content.
Is there descriptions in the? No. That would
Suggested-
only have been helpful.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
so what happened when we shut down the EMS? What happened to all of the data, all the records, all the files, all the
There's a ton of
stuff? And they're just like
Which got
lingering
us to
around?
this,
They're-
no, they were sent to fireproof.
Okay,
Yeah, they were boxed up, they're sent to,
Okay.
the records,
Okay.
storage. But there's quite a bit. So if there's some that we could get rid of, we could save some space there.
Right.
yeah. So then, just from a cost perspective, it might be worthwhile at some point to bring Rick back and say, okay, what's what and where is it? Good luck,
Definitely from a cost perspective, yes.
but not necessarily I mean,
Right.
dispatch sheets, FD07, and master run reports are probably very similar in terms of the information they would contain.
I would assume.
So, I think I have no concerns or qualms about any of this and how long things are being kept and what they're called. I was just curious about the difference of the two, and we talked it through, so.
Sorry about
And
the
then-
extra blank sheets.
Do we need to change this?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yes,
Good
we
catch.
do. Yes,
I
thank
didn't
you.
notice that, good catch, yeah.
Only because I'm sitting here going, wait, if the police, we have to keep it
Yes,
this
the
long, then it's the
template.
same thing. I'm like, so, no, I just wanted to make sure that I'm not.
I didn't change it on the template. Okay. Thank you.
I just want you guys to know I'm actually looking at it.
No, I appreciate that.
I may not have any idea what we're doing yet, but I'm looking at it. And you said nothing on these have changed. So I guess my question to you is there something that you want to change on any of these?
No.
Okay.
We did a lot of revisions in
We did.
2019. And those were all the ones that we were really concerned about. It was mostly police.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we had to add some things, so those are good. And I double checked with Chief this morning just to make sure that he was okay with it and we didn't need to add anything. He said no.
And we have plans to go through the rest of the file cabinets and all of that kind of stuff in my office to get that stuff. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that we aren't changing anything. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. I'm glad you guys find it funny.
So if we did change the master run reports to 7 years, that would still save us a lot of space, because that's how many years we went back with the files that were back there.
Okay.
But if we need to look into it a little bit more, we can, I can.
I'd say let's look
Right.
into it before we change it, that way we don't have to change it back if we realize we don't need to keep them.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
that's
just-
probably not a bad idea.
Put it on the agenda for the
Saving
next, for the next
space at
time, and yeah,
Fireproof could really,
yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So my other question then, and this is just sort of out of curiosity, if we look at the police schedule, EV 42, and then it has a corollary for the EMS as well. FD 23, the radio phone calls and audio recordings.
23?
PD, FD 23 and
Oh.
PD 42.
Oh, okay.
We have 30 days provided no action pending, is how long we keep those things, which seems reasonable, but I'm curious what the definition of action pending
I would
fall under,
assume
would fall under that.
investigations.
Yeah, and I would assume even a pending court case. Because, I mean, it'd say it's, you know, a call that results in no charges or anything, that we can leave them after 30 days. But if we solve a case, then we might need that for evidence, so.
So my question then is, what if, and we talked about this at our last Records Commission meeting, quite at length, in terms of keeping dash cam footage and body cam footage.
Sure.
And those kinds of recordings in the event that there is a citizen-driven complaint.
Sure.
Does that fall under this action, this definition of action?
Don't we have, okay,
Body cam cruiser is 90 days.
Okay.
Okay.
and that is because we made it 90 days because that's how long it stays on the system before it
Yes.
drops off.
What, remember, where is?
Oh, sorry, 54.
Thank you.
Oh, yep.
Save me the trouble having to search through there. Yes, so.
And then they merge them with case files on the PD 55.
Yes, so if
Yes.
they're burned,
Yes.
then we just merge them with the case file. And they get destroyed with the case file.
So I think the only thing that would be your phone calls. The recordings, phone calls. But now, all of our phone, and this is just a general question, our phone system, all of our phone calls are recorded.
They're recorded now.
So how long are those recorded for?
I don't know.
So that would be a good question too.
All
if
your
it's
phone calls into this building or
Yes.
just with the police?
Into this building.
all of them. So
Yes.
that would be a question that we could verify for the next meeting as well.
Would
How
that be under
long?
administrative?
Because that's
I would
new.
think.
Yes.
Yeah, because
I've
that's
not heard that.
everyone.
Yeah.
Then you don't have a retention, looks like, for audio recordings of meeting minutes, but you don't have any recordings of.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it stays on the server. I just remember somebody saying something like that we
Or
no
is
longer
it-
have to record.
General, all departments, is there one in
Huh.
there?
Why would you record all your phone calls?
I think it's just and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, again, I just remember somebody saying that with the new
3CX.
3CX, that's what it,
They did their, I guess maybe to make them available, and should we need them? It's something new that the company did, we did not request it.
Recordings
But
at.
3CX, they are all recorded, should we need to retrieve a call.
right, and I don't know if it,
But
where
I
it's
don't
going.
know how long they're available.
I hate to sound like Richard Nixon, but that creeps me out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that around. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the point of picking up the phone and calling someone.
Well, it is, except, yeah, I mean, it is, in my, I'm gonna say this, in my view, I actually don't mind it for the simple fact that, I've had a couple phone calls that I'm thrilled that.
That's very true. We have had
You don't think about it until it gets somewhere, like, I've had two really random people, like, if I had to tell somebody this story, they would not believe it,
Oh, I
so, yeah.
in the police department, we have had to, actually quite a few times, we've had to retrieve recorded,
That doesn't
yeah,
surprise me.
recorded calls just for,
Right.
Oh,
Sure.
So there are times in
Threats.
which, but other than that, I
There
don't
are
think
threats.
anything of it, like when I'm on.
Well, I guess if you're gonna say something you don't want the whole world to hear, you'll use your cell phone? Maybe, or just talk in person?
Now I only call you on my cell phone, no, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Alright.
so it looks like in general, all departments, they do have, we do have, didn't I just see this somewhere?
Recordings at city
at-
facilities.
Yes, number
G28.
G28. And this says, until no longer of administrative value.
Gotcha. Oh. Okay.
So I
For
guess
me.
if that's the case, then. Okay. Yeah, I think we did find a lot of similar things when we looked back before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Does anyone feel like we need to make any changes there?
I don't. No. Morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thanks.
So we just need to adopt the fire one, right? Move to adopt it, or,
Yes, isn't that accurate? Is that what we do?
I believe so.
Okay, and then the you and mayor, both sign off on those, so
Okay.
I guess when
So-
I find out from Rick
I'm the
about
chair.
the run sheets and the medical, or,
It would probably be worth asking him just how, what's the likelihood that those are traveling together?
right,
Yeah.
cause I guess I sort of assumed that run sheets had medical data on them, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know
You would
exactly,
know
I
more
mean, I
than
would think that, well, yeah, I mean, except I'm not an EMS person, but they would have some,
Like shortness of breath or something like.
possibly, yeah, chief complaint, and then an address, at least in a dispatch time and a disposition and run time.
Right.
When they got back into service,
And then the next one's gonna be more in detail, like name and, what-
Right, vital signs, interventions, meds
yeah.
given, where they ended up, who, what kind of things happened along the way.
So this is gonna be an awful question. If this is what we got from, and I'm not trying to second guess anything else, but if this is what the Ohio Historical, the recommendation is from them, I mean, I'm content with what they recommend.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my other point to this, if we just,
Okay.
and I don't wanna say this on a recording, but I'm gonna say it, so if we just want, and we want to, like, I get what his point is, but if we can just be, if we're okay with their recommendation,
You're right.
and then if we decide we want to change it the next time, then we can do, I mean,
Sure.
the EMS is
Right.
gone, I mean, as
Yeah,
far
I
as that
agree.
goes, this is really just what we're gonna do for the next 7, 10, however many years, and the permanent ones. So, I mean, it's not like this is, something that is ongoing, that's gonna continue to be an issue.
If,
So I would say leave it at 3, the master run reports at 3 years, and
then check with Rick, and then we amend it later if we need to.
in
Yeah.
December if we really need to.
Yeah,
But, I mean, this is what they recommend, so that would be,
Yeah.
that's my only thought to it.
okay,
And then that way we can resolve all of this today and revisit it in December if we need to. It'll be something less on your
I think
desk.
it's interesting
just don't,
that for, and I'm just throwing this out there as a question, not necessarily something we need to take action on, but just something to think about. For the EMS records, which we assume is a record of what actually happened on the call, as
Right.
opposed to just go deal with these people. There's no delineation for patients who were minors at the time of the call
Right,
versus adults. And the duration of what we need to do for minor, how long we have to keep things for minors may be different than for adults because the statute of limitations
Correct.
for a malpractice suit is
I'm
different.
dealing with that right now, cause Tanner's under, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
You're right, yes.
Yeah, so,
That's interesting.
yeah, I don't know what that, do you have any insight into
I
that?
don't know, off the top of my head.
I
That's-
mean,
it makes sense that it would be.
But then
We can
you,
check.
but going back through and trying to figure out.
Right, who's playing?
Oh God, how many
Right.
of those runs were actually, I mean, that's a needle in a haystack, not that many, they
Right.
didn't do much.
Right,
if we keep, how do I say here? I would almost feel
Keep it at
more
7?
comfortable if we kept them both at the same
7?
amount of time, if that's,
yeah.
if that's okay, just
I
in
would
case
rather just
someone would.
get, pick one and
Just for
stick with it.
consistency.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Pick one, stick with it, and then if we need to change it, and yeah, if we go 7, then
Yeah,
I am fine with whichever, but I think,
in case someone were to come in and say, oh, I want.
and that would help with the
to request
minors.
these records, and we don't, and they did happen to be together, and I didn't know, and they were destroyed, but it says we need to keep them for 7 years.
Well, let's go 7, and then in December, if we decide to lower it to 3, it'd be
Yeah.
better to go higher than,
Yeah, can we do that?
they
That's
would be
fine, and then when I was thinking about how records look from where I sit at work,
right?
seeing kids that come in through the ED that are brought in by squad, we have scans of those
Right.
medical records from EMS that are incorporated then into their electronic health
Correct.
record.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's a measure of protection there.
Okay.
if there were to be some sort of legal action, the basics are already encapsulated in the hospital records, so.
Right.
I don't think,
Yeah,
now
and
that I say it out loud, I don't think it's an issue of
Okay.
of making special accommodations for minors that were transported. I don't think you need to
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
So close that
Just
can of
change
worms
this
that I
to-
just opened.
So,
Change it to 7.
that's, yeah, if everybody's
Yes.
okay with that.
Yeah.
You're the one
we
that
did
has to
just
deal
get a
with it.
request from,
It's fine.
I think it was 6 years ago. So it's just, you never know what will come up. So I guess I'd rather be
This is true.
safe on that end.
This is true.
Okay. Plus they do have a lot of data on electronic
Okay.
files,
Yeah,
so it shouldn't be too bad.
okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna move to amend FD 21 from 3 years to 7 years.
Do I need to make that motion?
I can make it, you could just second it.
I can
if you
second
want.
it.
Second,
Okay, that's second.
and we vote.
Okay.
Lee, do you wanna call our names to vote? Are all 4 of us on the commission?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
We are.
Yeah,
that's
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
Yeah.
voting to
Yeah,
amend?
voting to amend FD 21, and then we can do another one to amend, or to adopt the whole.
Okay. And Mayor Hughes
Yay?
Yes. Aye.
and Jen Polk?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You wanna move to adopt?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll move to adopt the fire and EMS record retention schedule as amended.
And I'll second. All in
Yeah.
favor?
Oh, it's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
As good as it gets.
We didn't
You would think
It's
you would.
awkward and weird.
You and I should be used to
I
it.
know, right?
We're like, wait a minute, do I say aye, yes, no?
familiar to me for some reason. And I was just very familiar with sitting back being the note taker. I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry. It's okay.
All right, do you want us to go ahead and sign this and you'll get those two updated so you have it? Do you want to, what do you want to do? And do we need to re-sign all of these for this year?
We don't, they've already been adopted by
Okay,
the
and
Ohio
we didn't
History
do anything to
Connection.
change it, okay,
Yes, so we're
so
not amending them, we
do
don't
we
yet.
just need to sign this one then?
We do. Should we,
Do you want,
do you want me to quickly print up a change, or can we just?
I'm
write it?
happy to sign it.
Okay,
Yeah, try it.
can we just, I'm just gonna sign this one.
That's
that would be good, because I wrote on mine.
Yeah.
That's usually what I do, okay, is there a 6, 2? And then we are going to, I'm gonna do same thing, 10 AM, December, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I'm not, she is, the first December meeting for Mayor's Court. Do the Records Commission at 10. Same exact thing we just did.
There you go.
Thank you so much, okay, do we want to adjourn?
Yep, motion to adjourn,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.